Sorry I took so long. I was gathering some information and doing some meditation, but I'm back. And from now on, according to my producer, it's probably best that I do some weekly or every several days. So I will be putting out material every 7 days at least, or every couple days. Once again, I apologize to my few subscribers, and we will get the ball rolling with truthful information from the world of, or I should say, the world thereafter the protest, and the world thereafter these reconciliations that we have going on in this country at this time. This video is based solely upon not only from moving from the protest, information that I gave on how to proceed after the protest, but what also happened before the protest and why those protests happened. This video is based upon, it's piggybacking that, but moving us forward. It's 99 days, 98 days or so before the election. Once again, all of us must do our civic duty to do voting, and of course we know we must vote in the affirmative so that we can move our country forward. And that affirmative, of course, at this time, in my assessment, would be best for Joe Biden. Now, concepts of addiction, because at this point, since I've laid the groundwork, we have to also be wary and cognizant of those things that would either slow down, derail, or belittle the momentum that has gone out of George Floyd's death. And as you can see today, we can't do it as black people alone. Not in this country. Not yet. I should say not yet. I should say ever. Because people like John Brown, white people who have fought in the Civil War, poor white people, are all a part of this. And I'm not only going to share what we need to do to help them, but share what it means to have them aboard. Now, the protest, a lot of experts, a lot of civil rights activists indicated that they've never seen the like of the protest, because it's an intermingling of races, sexes, people from all backgrounds. I'm here to tell you, it's by default that has happened. What do I mean by that? A lot of the protesters that are white, a lot of the protesters that are of different races from black people, and why they have taken up our mantra is because we're intermingled now, more than we were, say, in the 60s. More than we were in the 50s. Even more than we were when John Brown was the fire of the meteor of the war, of the Civil War. So it's by default that these things have taken place. Why the protests are so intermingled. It is because of that. That mixing of races has come to a head. And you can't be, for the most part, there's just not any white people that have not had some contact, either be relationship wise or working wise, that they haven't had contact with us. So we're intermingled. So by default. Now, to go forward and to help our movement maintain its momentum, we have to understand that the addictions of the past can no longer be addictions of the future. They have to be given up. And one of those that are near and dear to my heart, the first one, is religion. Right now, religion is an addiction. I know, it's hard to believe, but it's true. The addiction of gathering people in one place to, for all intents and purposes, worship a preacher. No, we're not worshiping in those churches. We're not worshiping God. We're not worshiping, if you're a believer of God. We're not worshiping Christ, if you're a follower of Christ. No, we're not. Especially in this country. We're worshiping the preachers. Why do I say that? Look at T.D. Jakes. Look at how he's lived. Look how Joel, how they live. Look at how those preachers are living. They living as good as some businessmen. Because it's a business and people are worshiping the heads of those businesses. They go in every Sunday and they put out money to listen to these people speak. It's as simple as that. And they're addicted to that. And they want you to be addicted to right along with them. And I'm telling you, don't. Okay? If you want to gather spiritual knowledge, read the Bible on your own. If you want to gather spiritual knowledge, read the Quran on your own. If you want to gather spiritual knowledge, read the Bhagavad Gita on your own. Read the teachings of the Buddha on your own. Read about Krishna on your own. Okay? Because the knowledge that you gain on your own, okay, is going to be knowledge sustained. You don't hear me? The knowledge that you read on your own is knowledge sustained. Okay? You read these books and read books like them. Okay? Read books that help with spirituality. Heck, you can read a comic book, which is what I grew up on. I was a follower of Stan Lee. His philosophy of heroes and their shortcomings and their greatness all were intermingled. Sound familiar? Sound like a hero you heard in the Bible? David? Solomon? Okay? Even Christ? Lord, why hast thou forsaken me? Okay? So read these books on your own. Okay? And you will gather the knowledge that you need to not only sustain your spirituality, but to understand it in a more deep and profound way. Yes. Now the next addiction is a little tougher because people are looking for relief of their suffering and they're looking for it in a pill. Okay? But they're no different than the ballers on the street that I grew up with and that I was a part of. Yes, that's right. I fought on both sides of that drug war. Okay? I was a baller, and then I got my degree, and I started taking people to jail. Okay? So, I know both sides of it. And I can tell you that the person who's in the middle of that, the people that are hurting are those who are trying to find relief. Whether they're going to their local drug dealer, getting a ounce of weed or a rock, or whether it's somebody on TV, Lucerna, okay? But they're all drug dealers. Don't get it twisted. One is that they said they did the research, okay? They did the research, and they took the time to do that research, and so now they can give you this drug that you can be addicted to, like the opiates. Purdue Pharma, yeah, you know them. They're the legal drug dealers. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no such thing as a legal drug dealer. You're just a drug dealer. Some got on suits, some got on swinging chains, but they all drug dealers. How to break out of that? If you're in mental pain, you didn't get there instantly, like that pill that they're trying to sell you. You got there gradually. And the only way that you're going to get out of that addiction, or out of that pain, is to gradually wean yourself off of that thing that caused you pain here in the first place. Okay? I can't tell you you got to get off of that opiate or off of Zoloft or any other of those drugs like that. You got to wean yourself off slowly, but you got to get off. There's no way around it. There's no two ways about it. You got to get off. Okay? Because all they're doing is selling you a fantasy. That's right. They're selling you a fantasy. They're telling you that if I give you Zoloft, you're going to feel better. But what happens when it wears off? Oh, that's right. You got to go take another pill. Same thing as a drug dealer. As soon as that wears off, you go get another hit. There's no difference. Okay? So be mindful of that as you give yourself a chance to open your mind to the truth. That's what it is. Opening your mind to the truth. That drugs from anyone is an addiction. Relying on anything other than your good sense and reasoning. And remember, you can't have good sense or reasoning unless you're drug-free, unless you are cleansed. Okay? That's what the Bible talks about. Unless you are cleansed, unless you are holy. Okay? But you can't do any of those things unless you got a clear mind. Okay? And going to church every Sunday, getting your fix, is not a clear mind. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. Okay? So be mindful of that. It's the same thing. Calling your drug dealer up, calling your pharmacy up, calling the doctor up so he can prescribe you more. They're all the same. Going to the preacher, it's all the same thing. It's an addiction. Don't even be addicted to your own opinion, because it's a crutch. It's a crutch. Okay? Don't crutch yourself on anything. Okay? Okay? Open your mind. Search for the truth daily. Give yourself and become in and of yourself holy. Then you'll be whole. You know what I mean? They're talking about, the church talking about being holy like Christ. Christ is talking about being holy like yourself, because he said, I stand at the door and knock. Okay? You have to open up that door yourself. Christ don't break it in. Click. No. He stands at the door and knocks. Okay? Buddha said, be like a bee. Going into a flower, not disturbing the flower, taking something from and giving something back. You don't hear me. You got to give and receive in life. These are the things that make a person whole. Now I'll be giving State of Truth in several days, so be watching for it. Thank you for your time and attention. And as we go on, you will start to see that as I give you the truth, I will start to enlighten you on other truths so that you can be free. Remember the book I told you in the first episode. Eric Fromm, Escape from Freedom. No, Escape to Freedom.